Hello everybody, you already see a title in the thumbnail. It's a Steven Universe. What if Spinel? No. What if Pink Diamond took Spinel with her? Crazy, right? But why am I doing this? Why am I not just continuing what if Sonic was in Dragon Ball? Because because I know this what if is one of the biggest on my channel. But the one thing is it takes a while, man. The story going into this is a long process if you didn't know. And the art there is all made by me, man. Do you know how long that takes? So I'm gonna make this what if a casual what if, and hope you all enjoy it as much as you do with my Dragon Ball what ifs, and hope you all here to support me do it all. Let's get into it. For the most of the parts, it will stay a little bit the same until the point of the gem war. Of course, Spinel will still be left in the garden playing the little game, of course. But around the time when the gem war starts, just a couple of 100 years into it, Pink Diamond realized she forgot somebody. So she tries to remember it, and she remembers Spinel. And with that, she decides she's gotta go get her, and maybe she can help in this whole revolution, or maybe just cheer some people up. So she goes and gets her. But that ended up to be a huge mistake, because Spinel is still new to Earth. She causes a lot of damage. So Pink Diamond starts regretting her decision. But in the end, she decided to keep her. So because of that, everything goes down, just with everybody being a little bit hopeful for the future. Because Spinel is there to cheer them up. But the fateful time came for one everything has to end. So the diamonds all used their powers, and sadly that didn't wipe out the crystal gems. They got corrupted, except for a few being in the main gems. And throughout the years, they stumble across some things. They try to save some people, and a sailor comes around and corrupt the gem, and everybody transforms into obsidian and saves them. And that ended up becoming the founder of Peach City. Wow! Changes nothing, right? But what does really change is before that, everybody after the war is just depressed. They don't know what to do. They lost. Just cut down to just a few. Spinel tries to cheer them up. It's not fair. Not fair. But Spinel being Spinel, she wants to be everybody's best friend. Because of that, she started becoming more of a hazard than a fun person to be around. So everybody distanced themselves from her a little bit, but talks to her when they need something, like a comforting word or something. Spinel takes note of this, thinking they only want me, so they only want me here because they don't want me. They just need me to be here so they could get therapy session. Because of that, Spinel kind of shifts in a way becoming more of a mature character. Still wants to be friends with everybody, but not to the point of showing love to everybody around her every time. Because of that, she grows closer to everybody, and with her stretchy powers, she's unstoppable and gets to the point where Big City is made. Rose Core falls in love with Greg, and yeah, basically what happened is that, oh yeah, the lion part, that's still the same. And with that, around the time when Steven is born, Spinel is just broken. One of her first best friends is now gone. She doesn't know if she's gonna ever see her again, so she distances herself from everybody. But slowly she comes around, thinks Steven is her new best friend. Because of that, slowly everything shifts. Steven, Steven, Steven and Amethyst and Spinel became a trio. The townsfolk call them the trio of terror. I guess they just destroys everything that's in their path, accidentally, not intentionally. But yeah, that's basically what happens for the 10,000 years. Nice. Now around this time where the show begins, everything stays the same with Spinel just doing nothing for a while, just being a pal to the two, you know. But everything shifts when the eye came with the rose cannon, and with some wise words from Greg, they managed to get the cannon to work, and that gemite is gone. But it notifies the crystal gems were still there, roaming around. The diamond couldn't let that happen because, of course, Pink Diamond was killed by one of them, Rose Court. They couldn't think of Rose Court being still alive, so they sent out they sent out a ship, but that ship wouldn't be there for a while. That ship wouldn't be there for a while. So onto some shenanigans, am I right? So everything goes as planned, with Spinel being there, and sometimes Spinel not being there. And oh look, Steven meets Connie. Kinda meets Connie. He puts the globe. How do you call that thing? That little wristband that glows. I don't know how it's called. He puts that in a freezer, so the next time he sees her, he give it to her again. And after that, they go on shenanigans. Steven kind of learns to use his power. Just goes like that for a while until they meet Steven meets Connie again. And when that happens, now they're with a corrupted gem. They're in a trap bubble made by Steven. Steven doesn't know how to get out, but somehow they manage to do it. And when they get back home, Spinel is very sick, as well as Pearl, not Pearl. Pearl. They're both very sick about Steven. But the others knew he could take care of himself. And that's what happens until Lavis Lazuli gets free by Steven. And he befriends her until she finds out, oh dear, He's friends with the crystal gems. Because of that, she lashes out at Steven, and the rest comes to protect him, especially Spinel. She shakes her hands to a giant one and just straight up punches Lapis. That sends Lapis farther away from anywhere, and everybody thinks she's a shatterer. Basically, shattering means killing, something you're gonna go back on. That used to be a big thing until Steven Universe future, but we don't talk about that bullshit, okay? We stay in season 5. But and that happens, and that's the rest of the episode. Yo. So it takes a while, but the next day when they wake up, the whole ocean is now gone. Oh dear. The mayor says the word I like most about the first season. What are they gonna do? Nobody wants to come to Desert City. That's the highlight for me for the first season. And because of that, they have to go solve their problems. They have to fight their counterparts. Spinel sees a water version of her who looks horribly disfigured. Because of course, the water version of her has to stretch. But the water doesn't know how to stretch. So it's in a monstrous form. Spinel thinks this could be her if she had gone on a darker path. But she knows who caused this. Lapis Lazuli. So instead of Steven just talking to her and letting her come up there, she just makes a slingshot and just slingshot Steven up there. With Steven just making a bubble around him so he could at least do something to shield himself. Ah, thank goodness. When he gets up there, Lapis is quite angry, and she said, "I need the ocean because I'm cracked. I cannot use my flying powers." And Steven reveals he can heal. Magical, isn't it? And she thinks, could this be Rose caught in a different form? No time to think about that because she's now healed. She goes home. The water starts collapsing as the rest happens. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Steven went on a solo mission to the desert and got a pink lion named Lion. God, I forgot about that. Sorry, buddy, sorry. And after that, we come to the finale. What is it? They finally get to encounter the gem that the diamond sent, and they are horrified. They know they cannot beat this gem, and they're right. They lost. Jasper beat them really hard. They fell one by one, with Spinel taking the loss harder than anybody. When she retakes her form, she's saddened. Thinking, if she was stronger, Steven could have been saved. No, not just Steven. If she was stronger, everybody could have been saved. So Spinel thinks, how to get out of this cell. And with her stretching powers, she stretches her hands out so much it makes a clone of her. Just that clone is attached to her because it's still her stretching herself, and she can see out of it. She she's surprised she could do it, but she don't care. At least she can get out now. She turns off the prison shouting. Now everybody's free. Everybody on board. Spinel goes and try to find everybody, and she sees Steve. Steven is just staring at somebody who's crying, ended up to be Garnet, and she smiles as Steven finally learns that Garnet is two people. A fusion. Awesome, right? And with that, the epic showdown happens with Garnet and Jasper. They ended up winning, and now the ship is going crashing down. Jeez, am I right? and and with that, they have no idea what to do now. They're back in Beach City, but Jasper is too strong. Garnet is now a little bit weaker because he's fallen down. What do they do? Until Spinel thinks. I know. This is the part where Lapis and Jasper fuse, but for the sake of the story, to make it more interesting for y'all, Lapis is just crushed under some material. Okay? Yes, stay with me, okay? Stay with me. So, back to the story. Spinel sacrifices herself, fuses with her, and that forms something monstrous. Giselle. Hey! Jasper and Spinel, Giselle. And with that, they fight over something in there. In Giselle's head, there's only two things. A mental battle to see who is stronger. So because of that, it takes a while. They just hope and pray that the Spinel part of Giselle wins, and not Jasper. It takes 3 days and 3 nights, but the result is Spinel won the battle. Spinel won, but now she has to contain herself as Giselle, so Jasper never escapes. And they see on the rebel is Lapis. Lapis hates them more because he's just looking at their friends and not even looking for her or saving her. At that moment, Steven just says, "Is that all you think about? Of course we're gonna care about our friends. We didn't even know you were there." And with those words, Lapis rethinks about everything, and Lapis just leaves somewhere. Now moving on, Spinel is still going through a mental crisis because she doesn't know if she's Giselle or Spinel, and every single day she sleeps. She has to go through a mental battle so Jasper doesn't go crazy and come out again. And with that, they go to the moon. While Giselle doesn't, because anything goes on Earth, she's the only one that is strong enough to protect it. So the moon-based operation goes down the same. And I'm gonna leave it up here. What do y'all think of the first part? Do y'all like it? Of course, there are things I missed. and I'm really sorry. I'm just getting back into the groove of Steven Universe. It's been a while since I last watched it, but I know most of the story. Again, I I'm sorry if I missed off. Feel free to tell me in the comments, and I'll see all of you guys next time.